This video demonstrates the integration of Radware vDirect with Nuage VSP and OpenStack Liberty Load Balancer as a Service version 2. The scenario shown here is multi-tenant. The logical architecture consists of an OpenStack plus Nuage domain hosting 3 tenants, an admin tenant and 2 independent users, tenant 1 and tenant 2. Each of these 2 tenants contain a pair of web servers connected to their private networks. These have to be accessed by remote users from the public network. We deploy Radware's automation engine, vDirect. It will get orders via REST API from the OpenStack controller to provision Alteon virtual machines. When the admin of a tenant configures a load balancer via OpenStack console, vDirect receives the order to provision an Alteon virtual machine that corresponds to the configured load balancer for that particular tenant. vDirect spins up an application delivery controller VM inside the admin tenant and connects it to the private network of the tenant that requested it. Next, the Alteon machine would expose a virtual IP and would load balance traffic to the configured real servers. In this example, first tenant does simple HTTP, while second tenant terminates HTTPS session on the load balancer. This method is interesting because tenants can deploy, configure and use dedicated load balancers without actually having access to the virtual machine. The physical infrastructure consists of a series of nodes: OpenStack controller on 2 computes, Nuage nodes, VSD, VSC, VSG. In addition, each compute node has a Nuage virtual routing and switching module. The compute nodes are used to host the real servers and Radware VMs. Next, we would like to demonstrate the configuration and provisioning of load balancer as a service using Nuage, OpenStack and Radware. We source the tenant1 credentials file and create a load balancer which we connect to the private subnet. Next, we create the listener. This tenant will use HTTP. The next step is the creation of server pool. We start adding members to the server pool. This action triggers the actual deployment of the load balancer by vDirect. We might need to wait for the virtual machine to boot and to receive its configuration. During this time, its status is pending update. When the appliance is ready, its status becomes active and we may continue adding the rest of the servers to the pools. Let's now create a second load balancer, this time for the second tenant. The steps are the same. The only difference is that in this case we will use HTTPS. As in the first case, we may see that the second load balancer has been provisioned. We can actually check that the configuration has been successfully pushed to the appliance by logging into vDirect. We choose the appliance and query it for the current configuration. Here we may find all the LBaaS configuration translated into Alteon language. We see the real servers as well as the virtual ones. The final step of the demo is the test of load balancing. The load balancing method configured is round robin, so we may see that the requests are being load balanced accordingly. SSL termination also works as expected. A little bit slower though due to the SSL overhead.